wonderful friends and vlog readers. I'm so excited to have a special guest with me today. I have Davina Fear, who is someone that I have absolutely admired for several years now. Davina is one of my favorite people and favorite photographers. I stumbled upon her work probably about 3 years ago and started following her blog and was just so entranced by her images and also her writing on her blog. And I especially love the images that she captures of her own family. And I've done several blog cleanses through the last few years where I've just kind of needed to limit the amount of blogs that I'm following. And Davina's blog has always made the cut. She's one of those I just can never not go there because I love to see what she's writing about, and I love to see her photographs. And when I say her photos are inspiring, we'll share a few underneath the video here, but I am just so inspired by how much emotion and story that I find in her images, and I just love to see those images of her family. And I think in the photography world we can oftentimes kind of see a lot of the same thing, and you see a lot of trendy things, and especially with portraiture, a lot of things can appear very beautiful, but they can be a little bit stiff or staged. And that's something that I love about Davina's work, is it's always very real. So I have been super blessed this year to get to know Davina a bit better and consider her one of my good friends. And I am excited to have her with me today to just talk about some things I think will be really exciting conversation topic. She's doing some really unique things with her business, and with photography has a really neat philosophy on family in particular that we're going to talk about in a little bit here. But I'm excited to share her with you today and hope that you too can catch the amazing vision that she has. Davina, welcome to
Hello.
Our little interview today, and I'd love for you to start off by just introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you got to be where you are right now.
Okay. I started out photographing about 10 years ago. My husband bought me an SLR for Christmas. I had taken some classes when I was in college, but had kind of put the camera down for voice performance major. And then ended up majoring in family science, and I wanted to become a marriage and family therapist, but then learned some case studies and was kind of heartbroken by the way people who are supposed to love each other actually treat each other. And I didn't think I could bring that home. I couldn't leave it at the office every day, I didn't think. And so we started our family anyway. And so a while later, I got this SLR for Christmas and started taking pictures and had a community art class that I took. And figured out that I love to take pictures, and the professional photographers that were leading the class said, "Have you ever thought about doing this professionally? Because you really should." And I was like, "No way! I don't know." But before we got done with the classes, I had people hiring me to take their pictures and to do their weddings, and I just kind of ended up that I kept learning, kept going to workshops, kept going to classes, reading every book I could find to learn how to take good pictures, and just kept getting hired. And pretty soon I had a booming business, and it was really big. I had my own studio and everything before I left Utah. And about 4 years ago, we moved from Utah to South Carolina, mainly because I like new adventures. I was ready to do something new. So my husband's job moved us here, and we've been here for 4 years. And after I moved here, when I was in Utah, my business was all weddings, mostly with some family photography stuff. And when I moved here, I decided I wanted to focus on families. So I did that for a couple of years and have recently decided that what I really want to do is help people have more familyness in their homes. And I want it to be something that just spreads across the globe, and familyness is in every home, and helping people to figure out what their own familyness is. I don't think that there's one certain way any family has to be, but I think there are some key elements that can happen for people to have greater, happier familyness in their homes. So that's my big vision right now, is to have familyness just go like wildfire. To just have family go like wildfire all over the world. So,
that's something I love, is your actual word that you use is familyness, and I think that's a one that you've kind of made up yourself. Can you talk a little bit about what is the definition of familyness when you say you want to help people have that in their home?
Familyness came from two words: happiness plus family equals familyness. And so what we really want is for people to be able to have more happiness in their family on a daily basis, and not just have it be about going places and doing activities and going on trips and vacations and things like that, but actually have it be within the threads of your everyday life, to feel that happiness and joy in the everyday things that you do as a family, and create space for familyness to happen every day.
And I think that's becoming increasingly more challenging and difficult in the fast-paced, digital, plugged-in, distracted world that we live in. I think all of us want to have a happy family, but I know I myself am guilty of looking at my phone when I've got my husband home for only a couple hours, or I have just a few minutes with my own child. And that's something that I've appreciated about the things that you write about and products you create, is that it can help me make some lifestyle changes, like you say, on a daily basis, to help me be more present with my own family. Now,
okay. Yay, it's working.
Yes. Something too that I love about kind of the history that you have studying about family life and marriage, as kind of watching how that was something that was of real interest to you. And like you mentioned, that you didn't really like the part in school, at least, or in the idea of therapy, of always working with all the problems. And I love how the perspective that you have now is, let's focus on all of the good things that we can bring into family life. And I think it's really interesting too how that has kind of traveled with you through your work as a photographer, but also into kind of the new direction that you're going with, even creating programs like your Love 15, which I hope you'll talk about in just a minute, but creating systems and products for people to be able to have that happiness in their family life. Let's talk about, just briefly, how that interest in family and marriage has influenced you as a photographer, first of all, in the way that you have either photographed professionally or the way that you photograph your own family. I just love that convergence of how you bring in those other interests and talents that you have, and you pair it in with your interest in photography as well.
I think it first started when I was photographing, and I was seeing what everyone was photographing, and it was all trying to be really photojournalistic. And I really liked that, except that I really also wanted to capture who people really are, aside from just at a photo shoot. And it seemed like people were just going out to the woods and getting some pictures of people walking around, or against alleyway walls, a sofa in the middle of a field, things like that. And they're really cool, and they're kind of a new way to do photography, at least from when I first entered the field 10 years ago. There was a lot more traditional photography going on that was very posed, but we were in that transition of kind of getting away from a lot of posed stuff, but still doing a lot of posed stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I need to figure out a way to get to know my clients quickly and be able to photograph who they really are and things they really do. Because I was getting really tired of trying to find colorful alleyway walls or interesting backgrounds for my clients. And I thought, well, why don't I just put them in the background where they usually are? Mm. So I created a questionnaire years and years ago. They're very popular now, but when I created it, it was like the first thing on the market ever, for a questionnaire for clients to ask them lots of questions about themselves, what their interests were. And it was called the Get to Know You questionnaire. And I gave that to my clients right when they booked, and they filled it out. And from that came all my inspiration for every photo shoot that I did. And so I did all kinds of crazy fun stuff that other people weren't doing, because I was really trying to meld that feel of who each client and family really were with photography. And I really do feel like that came from my family science background, because of how much we talked about every child is different, every family is different, and there are things that you need to do to find out about kids, family, and then work with differences and things like that. So I brought that right in and used a questionnaire to be able to figure that out. And I think it made the hugest difference in my photography. And as you can see now, it makes a huge difference in the whole industry to use a questionnaire, because I know that a lot of people, I had hundreds of people who have bought my questionnaire, and I know other people have made questionnaires now. So it's been pretty groundbreaking for the whole industry to start photographing with more information about their client.
Yeah, that's something I started myself a few years ago, was using the idea of a questionnaire and designing a session around who they actually were. I loved how I didn't have to look for those exciting locations or colorful backgrounds. I didn't have to have props anymore that I brought. I'm like, oh, they have a great supply in their own life and what they already like to do. And it also was a great way to vary up my portfolio. So it's not like I had 10 families all standing in front of the same background or location, but everything was unique, and it was fun to be able to see what really makes each family or subject unique to who they are. And I think it adds a lot more sentiment, and more meaning to their actual photographs as well. That is a great thing for shooting professionally. How can you use those same ideas in your own home? I'm sure you don't necessarily use a questionnaire with your own family. You know them pretty well already. But what is some of the ways that you use that background in family and marriage, and your idea of familyness in shooting your own family?
A big way is by really thinking about how each of my kids is very different from each other, and identifying those ways and being okay with it, not making them be someone they aren't. I think that was a really big key in the way I shot sessions, is not to make my clients be somebody they aren't, because I have some vision for who they should be or how they should look. And the same thing with my kids, that they are who they are, and for me to try and push them to be something they aren't, or some vision that I have of the way they should look to other people or should look to me, just makes it a lot more difficult and a lot less creative, really. You get a chance to really bring in your creativity when you're seeing your kids and your family for the unique people that they are. And I think being able to use your best creativity on your family is where it's at. I mean, we use a lot of our creativity to do an awesome job with photography with our clients, but how awesome when we get to use our creativity, our best stuff, on our family.
Right. Now, I love how you talk about all your kids are different and kind of approaching them differently in photographing it even in your own home. Can you give us kind of some examples of how that works for you?
Well, I have one daughter who hates to get her picture taken, really. I mean, it's not her favorite thing. And so I have to be really creative with her. I have one daughter who will just do anything for the camera. She's happy to accommodate me. And sometimes she'll even say, do you want to get a picture of this? But I have this one daughter who, when the camera comes out, she's like, Mom, sometimes she's just like, or she just won't get in the picture. Sometimes I'll want to get a picture of all the kids, and she's like, no. I have to find some creative way for her to be in the picture. So sometimes I'll say, okay, I want you to be in the picture, but I want you to make a different face every time you get in the picture. And so then she thinks this is a game. As long as it's a game, she's all for it. But she's only all for it for a few minutes. I mean, she she gets tired of it or whatever quickly. But and another thing I really love when she comes to me with she's extremely creative, very expressive. So of course I want to take pictures of her because she's very expressive. So she'll bring me something that she's created. A few years ago, she brought me this little crown that was supposed to be for like a little doll or something, or I don't remember. Oh, no, it was a regular crown tiara, but parts of it had totally broken off. And so she remade it and made it into like a teeny tiny little crown. And she decided it was made for her, even though the crown really should have been for a doll. So she had put it on and tied it underneath her neck, and she brought it down. She's like, hey, look at my new crown. I'm all, that's an awesome crown. It's that crown, way to go, you know? And we were laughing about it. I said, I should take a picture of that. She's like, oh, you should, because this is awesome. So catching her in that moment where she thought she was already super awesome, and of course everyone should want a picture of this because this is so cool. And so I just had her stand against a wall, and I had her do every expression I could think of wearing that little thing. And I love those pictures of her because it shows her personality so much, because she is expressive, she is creative, she's silly, she's fun, and different expressions was just perfect.
That's awesome. I think everyone can relate to having different personalities in the family and having people feel differently about photography. You know, and sometimes that changes with the age. Sometimes when kids are really little, they love having their picture taken and they want to participate. And as they get older, sometimes they're too cool for that type of stuff. But I love, you take that into consideration, how they feel and what could we do? How could we be a little bit more creative and making this something that they're going to enjoy? Maybe it needs to be more fun. Maybe it just needs to be more interactive. Maybe it needs to involve an activity. So it's not necessarily looking at the camera, but we're going to have some fun right now doing, whatever activity it is, and we get to capture some of those more candid responses, but really taking into account personal feelings and personality of each person that we're working with, and so that we can condition our family to appreciate and respect the camera rather than not be very happy when it comes out.
And see it more as a fun thing, because if we're trying to get our kids to take pictures when they don't want to, you're just making it worse.
Right.
You're just making them hate the camera worse. And so being able to find ways and opportunities when they would love it because of what their personality is like, it helps them not be so upset with the camera, after that. And that's what I figured out with this daughter. I was trying to push it a few years ago, and then I realized, hey, I should just go with it when I can tell she would be for it, or find these creative ways for her to want to be in the picture.
Right. And I am really excited about your new class that you're teaching, and I want you to talk about it because I think there are a lot of photography classes out there. I teach some fabulous photography classes, and your class that you have is particularly on shooting your own family. But the part that I love about this is that it's not just how can we get better pictures, but it really takes in an added dimension of depth and meaning, because it brings in your background in family and marriage, and also this concept of familyness that you do so well at teaching about. Can you tell us a little bit about the class and kind of how those two parts of familyness and photography go together for the class?
Yes. The class is about how to take better pictures of your family, but with that added thing that you're talking about of familyness. And the really big part is to be able to see your own story and be grateful for your own story, because I think a lot of us think, oh, well, their family looks magical. In fact, I've had a lot of people write me and say, I wish I could be in your family. Can I move in? When can I move to your house? And I want to say to people, I would love for you to come to move at my house. It'd be fun. We love having people. But I also think that everyone has a magical life. It's just a matter of seeing it and making opportunities for your magic to happen. And so that's a big part of the class, is being able to see your own story, be really grateful for it, love it, and then be able to learn how to take photographs of it so that it feels the way you, so that it looks the way you feel about it.
Right.
So that's a really big part of it.
That's so awesome. And when does the class start?
The class starts on the 20th. That's this Sunday, and it's all online, so you can do it in the comfort of your own home and be able to get those pictures between courses, because you'll have some assignments, and there will be video tutorials and little assignments and inspiration things going on. It's going to be really fun. I'm really excited. There's lots of cool little bonus things that you're going to learn about, and a big part of it too is being able to learn to take pictures with the camera, whatever camera is on you, and to be able to take a good shot with whatever camera you have on you, which for a lot of us is our phone camera.
Right. So, and you are outstanding at getting some incredible phone shots. I have not ever been able to achieve that. Maybe I need a new phone. I know I have talent, but the cell phone camera doesn't work for me. Well, thank you so much, Davina, for chatting today. I just want you to know I think you are so fabulous and one of my favorite photographers and one of my favorite people. And I know that, of course, anything that you do is really, really fun, but it also has a lot of meaning behind it. And I think that is something that's hard to find, you know, that it's not just fun and games like it is, but there's also a lot of meaning and kind of just being a better person that I get from your blog post. I know that that'll be something that people come away with from your class, is just how can I be a better family member? How can I see the magic that is in my own home and be able to cultivate and strengthen all of those relationships, because we all have unique families, we all have unique stories, and really being able to look at our own family and see that is an amazing gift, and not to just be judging our own life against the life of other people, which is easy to do, especially in this visual age and Facebook and Instagram, and we always see what other people are doing, and it's easy to think our life has no magic.
Oh, me, where's my magic?
Right. That's something I'm really excited about your class. And so thank you for being here and sharing your philosophy on familyness. Everyone who's listening, I hope you'll take a chance to go to Davina's site, check out her the posts that she writes. They're really inspiring. It's a great resource to be able to find daily ways that you can incorporate more familyness into your life. And if you have the opportunity, I highly encourage you to take advantage of this great photography class that she has coming up as well. So thank you so much, Davina, for being here.
Awesome. I'm so glad I could be. Thank you for asking me.
Yes.